Okay, so for the purpose of the live stream, everybody is working on their island of choice off the coast of Georgia, looking at what are some of the unique birds and reptiles and plants that you would find on that island, and what conservation um, activities are in place to combat tourism, um, climate change. It might be that you have to talk because we just had a recent hurricane go up the coast of Georgia. I remember when I was coming up, Betty, they had to evacuate some of the areas off the coast of Georgia. So it might be that there's some issues due to all these hurricanes coming back as far as conservation is concerned. How do they protect or restore the area in question? Okay. All right. And for those of you who are asking me again about the Gizmo activity, I will revisit it and see that everybody's assignments have been updated. It is not possible. I was just talking with someone about that. It is not possible to go back in and change your answer other than me checking on the final case study at the end. But it was worth, that last part was worth 21 points. So if you did not answer that according to the rubric. And folks, you got to keep in mind too, as an AP class, you're required to give an extensive answer to everything. So if you give short answers to questions, you get short points. So I am following the rubric that goes with each question. So you need to answer as complete an answer as possible when you do these assignments. Same thing with this one. It's a short assignment, but you should answer it as complete as possible. Same thing with the Halloween assignment. You should have as much factual information as to how you did your study and a conclusion as to what you are going to tell the town about what they need to do in order to keep this from happening again. Because you know and I know that it's not ghosts. So there had to be a human reason for that incident. So make sure that you have a good conclusion on your story for that as well. All righty. So right now it appears that I have more work to do than you do. So as someone pointed out, I'm looking at the grade book and everybody, almost everybody, is in good standing. I'm not understanding some of the points, why they are as low as they are, but that could be from something I haven't graded yet. So by the end of today, they'll be updated. Deborah, are you okay? Deborah, you need to look at your gizmo activity was definitely not finished. Where's Deborah? Deborah, are you hearing me, Deborah? So that's something you need to complete. Also, oh, I know what happens. Okay, that's what. All right. You might have submitted something, but you might have submitted it after the due date. So while it's submitted, I may not have checked it yet. And so if there's a 0 there right now for something you already submitted, that's because it was submitted after the due date, and I will check it. So that will change, like the worksheets. Some of you got zeros for that because that was after the due date. So as soon as it will not be marked late because it shows the submission date. So I will check on that. But the Canvas puts in a 0 as soon as the due date passes. So know that. But if you turned it in on time, then there shouldn't be a 0. There's only a 0 there is if you turned it in after. And late is it on these things that when I see that you already submitted it and it wasn't late, it doesn't come off as late. Okay, that's the issue on these. Okay. All right. So like I said, I have more to grade than you do. I'm also adding in the AP Classroom assignment. So if you haven't done that, that's something else you need to check in on. All right. So Jada, Deborah, y'all have, and Journey, y'all have things that you need to catch up on. Okay. Excuse me. Oh, she's a tiny. Mm, okay. All right, Deborah. I checked your gizmo. You'll be happy to know that's been nicely corrected. I didn't want to put 0 in, so I just put your total at the time, but I've adjusted it to be the correct score. So that should, now you just have to turn in the worksheets. Okay. Um, okay, give me 1 second. Come out of that. Um, it might be a good thing that I do that anyway. Okay, I'm gonna share. Okay. Some folks asked me about this worksheet. All right, on this one, these spaces over here, you needed to have added, uh, you weren't adding the names, you were adding the levels of, yeah, you wanted to say what, for example, on the side over here, it says autotroph. So you wanted to know what would the name be for the organisms with the neck. I don't know if you can see my arrow pointing, but right above autotrophs, you needed to put in the word that went with the opposite of autotrophs. Everybody else on the food chain is not an autotroph. What are they? At the bottom, what would be the name for the thing that would be at the bottom? You didn't have to give organisms. You were really supposed to just give the general term, like everything starts with producers, and then go up and fill in the boxes. So after that, what are the 4 levels above producers? And then how much energy, percent energy is being transferred to each level? And the box on the side, again, everything is affected by decomposers. And what's the name, that another name that we can give to decomposers? So that's the little mushrooms are there kind of representing decomposers. On this other one, they wanted you to add a bear to the top and then draw arrows. So you should have had several arrows, and most of you didn't. Most of you had a couple of arrows, but you need to have arrows for every possible food chain that was that could have been shown in that box. And then these you just needed to um, explain what was going on up here. Okay. All right. So Deborah, did that answer your question? That might have helped others as to know why they didn't get full credit on the worksheet. Deborah, was that what you needed me to explain? Okay. All right. And the other one was a little more, actually, the other one, I do want to say something about that too, because some of you didn't do the right thing on there either. So the first part of this page was pretty straightforward. You just had to fill in. This part down here, you were supposed to actually do, and you could have created a food web on the website, and a couple of people did that, and then they just kind of copied and pasted it on here, but it was supposed to be a food web that you were actually supposed to just complete a complete says use the case that you just completed and draw the food web that you actually would have created on the site. And then to take a photograph of your food web and paste it here. So this really shouldn't have been something you made up. It should have been something you created on the site and then just kind of transferred the information here. So this, a lot of folks kind of fell short on this one too. Okay. All righty. All right, folks, time to go. You all have a great weekend. Be safe. Enjoy. It's supposed to be sunshiny.